This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff with the homies.
That's us.
Good to see
Is
you
that our
all.
mantra now?
I think so.
Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff and the homies.
Yeah.
Homies. Just going to roll with it. Today is Tuesday, March 7th. We're a day behind, $1 short, and some content behind, potentially. But we are committed to the Loyal Listener Club, so thank you all for being with us. As a reminder, I am Muff, steering this rudderless ship, along with the Ohio Homer Jim.
Hello.
The guru of officiating Nate.
That's me.
And the medical degenerate Alex.
Nate stole my thing.
Yes, I did. What are you going to do about it?
Be pissed. Forever.
I believe since we started, Alex has said maybe 3 sentences, and at least 2/3 of them have been that Alex is upset about something.
Yeah.
I said it's only been a minute and a half, and Jim's already pissed me off, and then I just got pissed at Nate. I don't think I actually said anything between those two. Oh no, I said I'm filling out my Mount Massive.
So that's Alex's mood tonight, everyone. Get excited. Over the past week, the NFL Combine happened.
Yeah, that happened.
We're going to gain...
briefly saw it without rolling volume on or anything. Just kind of happening.
Receive some clarity on some of the NFL free agency signings and other things having to do with the NFL, but no Aaron Rodgers discussions yet, or at least no Aaron Rodgers culmination.
Do we need to be on the lookout for that? Is that a thing we need to worry about?
I mean, it's a pretty big piece to potentially some puzzles that are going to be happening prior to the draft.
Lord knows we got to be on your boy's watch list here. Let's look out for your boy.
He's gonna make some waves, whatever he chooses, whether it's the Packers, the Jets, maybe retirement. Who knows?
Who cares?
The NFL cares, Jim, so you should care as a sports podcast.
I don't care about Aaron Rodgers.
And in some other interesting things from sports, we're going to get into the NBA world. We're going to get into the UFC. We're going to get into the XFL, thanks to Nate finding a gem coming through. All right, loyal listeners, it's your time. Get in there, do the things, share all of what we do throughout the year. Make sure everyone else knows what's going on. Tell a friend, make a friend. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn on the bell, as Jim says. Do all the things. Keep us going up, up, up to the moon. Up, up, and away. Let's chat about some other things going on within the podcast realm right now. March Madness is almost upon us. Next time you listen to this, the selection show will have occurred. You can get into the action by visiting the link in our bio through the link tree on Instagram or Twitter, or checking out the Facebook page for a post that will be upcoming and probably be reshared multiple times for opportunities to participate in the men's and women's tournament bracket challenge this year. We always give out free prizes. I don't know what the free prize will be this year, but you'll win something for free.
We need something unique. We're not going to do stickers this time. We're going to do something unique. I don't know what it is, but we're going to do something unique. We'll see. We tried to do the pick 'em for the bowls and nobody beat us.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it's tough to give out free things when you're not better than us.
So we'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. But for now, just make sure you register. You can register starting now. Get your team in. This is through ESPN. So get your registration done. You can have up to 3 brackets to compete against the podcast. Coming March Madness with the basketball, we will get back into some betting episodes. So we'll have a betting episode coming up next week. I feel like we should probably record that on Tuesday or Wednesday to come out before the games start on Thursday.
Yeah.
Get pumped. Alex, update on the Pittsburgh Penguins.
The Pittsburgh Penguins are... Did you update this?
Nate did.
31, 22, and 9, 5th in the Metro. With I've had enough faux pas during this segment, so I didn't want to start effing it up again. Sorry. Okay, the Pittsburgh Penguins are 31, 22, and 9, 5th in the Metro with 71 points, currently 2nd in the wild card, 1 point behind the New York Islanders, who they play tonight.
Live looking on a score?
Live looking on the score. I haven't gotten an update yet, so I'm guessing 0-0.
Or it hasn't started. One of the two.
If it's in, they're not.
Now, when I put that note in there, I
No,
meant tonight as
they're
the day
playing
the
tonight,
podcast.
tomorrow. Bro. Tomorrow they play Columbus.
Gonna be a win for them.
Yep, that's my bad. That should have said Columbus.
That's okay. We're all together in this, in messing up the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I mean, I just overlook Columbus like I do in general. So
Well, I don't blame you when it comes to hockey.
I don't think he made a distinction in hockey.
It's fine. You can overlook it, but
They're only 1 point behind the Islanders. They have 71. Islanders have 72, and the Capitals are next in line behind them, and the Metropolitan at 68.
so by Muff's, math, they're like the sixth loser.
What?
It's tough if you're in fifth to be the sixth or seventh loser.
But like in the East,
Nobody's a loser yet because they haven't competed for a championship yet, Jim.
got it. Okay, good. All right,
They're not Ohio State in wrestling yet. They could be.
gotcha.
They could very well be shortly.
Okay, fair enough.
It could be all said and done.
Can I get to my part now?
Please.
I don't know what your part is, but sure.
Columbus sucks.
Oh,
The,
glad Jim. Glad Jim.
Get that on our side.
Jim recognized it.
The Knights are at the head of the Pacific. The Kraken, my guys, are one loss down from being in second place. So they're still fighting.
So
What do you give me a look for, Alex?
I just like how when it's your team, they're like one loss away from second place. So we aren't going to say third place.
Nah, not with Muff tonight. He's pissed me off. So I'm going to say one loss away.
Gotcha.
But
we pissed each other off now. I think we've come full circle.
while we're talking about hockey, the Ohio State women are the top seed in the NCAA women's hockey tournament. So kudos to them.
Good on
How many games have you watched? Who's their best player?
I don't know the players' names. I don't know the players' names on the Kraken. That's not fair. I've watched a couple women's hockey games. They're really good. Like that's a thing around town.
It's the thing around town.
But I haven't I can't sit and be like, oh, I know the players' names. I don't. But I have watched a couple games, Bob, so get off me.
God,
Anything
you should
else?
see the mess that I made earlier today trying to make rice. I swear there's rice all over my house.
That's sports related.
I was trying to get off the fact that we were all mad at each other.
Muff's just been an ass tonight.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was trying to bring us back together with rice.
Rice. You tried real hard. Something before we get into the offseason, the Pittsburgh Pirates are being the Pirates in spring trading, or maybe not. I'm not sure where this falls in. This is the Orioles and the Pirates wanted to play the bottom of the ninth after the game was officially over, but the umpires did not. So the umpires left and the game went on without them. Orioles manager Brandon Hyde and Pirates manager Derek Shelton decided to keep the guys out there and let the catchers call the balls and strikes at this one to finish out the game.
I don't know. Do we talk baseball anymore after this? Doesn't look like it. I'm watching this Red Sox Justin Turner get hit in the face with a pitch and he gets 16 stitches. And I was like, who gets hit in the face and has to have 16 stitches? Then I watched this guy get hit in the face. Holy shite. I'm just glad he walked away from it.
So you should have seen the Pens game the other night when Letang took a slap shot off the mouth.
Oh,
That's the stuff that makes me sick.
He went out of the game, got 22 stitches, and came back in the second period.
that hockey's built different, man. This guy needs help walking to the back. He looks like he's done for the day. Hockey's like, oh, my lip's falling off. Sew it back on, get me back out there.
Well, that's the thing with baseball, though, is there's no free substitution. Hockey, they're already in the lineup. They can come back.
Good grief. Ugh. All right.
Now that everyone's been appropriately grossed out, let's bring it to
The off season.
We got a little
We're building. It's building.
Yeah.
It's
a
building.
little spooky.
A little spooky. In the NFL offseason this past week, we had the NFL Combine.
Yeah, we did.
The annual, let's put on tights and shirts and run around doing drills that may or may not translate to the football field in any way possible.
I think it's interesting. CJ Stroud was in the combine, and they're calling him possibly one of the best pure passers to be out there, throwing with pinpoint accuracy and one of the strongest arms in the class.
strongest arms in the class. I feel like that's
literally what he's being touted as.
who touted that. If by
Uh,
one of he has like top 5 strongest arms, then I guess that's probably
Brad
realistic.
Cofford of 247 Sports.
So Ohio State 24/7 Sports.
I don't think it's Ohio State
I have no
24/7.
idea.
There's every team pretty much has their own 24/7.
Listen, all I'm going to say is I hope you're accurate when you're throwing on air.
That's true. That's true. So get into the QB talk first. There's a lot going on. CJ Stroud was touted for his accuracy. I can't agree to that. I did not see much about arm strength. I saw the accuracy part. But that was, to my knowledge, we were talking about CJ Stroud first, that the accuracy was already known. So I don't know if I didn't see anything.
Here we go. Let's shit
I
on
feel like you
CJ
just
Stroud.
He just complimented CJ Stroud's
It
accuracy.
was already known.
Oh, I'm saying there's nothing new there. Everybody knew that he was accurate, and he continued to show that. There was.
I don't feel like he was shitting on anything there. That would be like, Jim, we know that you're good working at your job. There wasn't any surprise to me whenever someone said, Jim, you're good at your job. Did you feel insulted by that?
But I'm just saying he's about to build up. This is where we belittle him down the road.
What, when he throws 20 interceptions in his first year, like Peyton
You know what I
Manning?
mean? It's that sugar thing.
Did you hear? I said like Peyton Manning. I said
He's
like
an Ohio
Peyton
State
Manning.
quarterback
Sugar,
going in the NFL.
shit,
He doesn't have much
sugar.
Go ahead, Nate.
He's an Ohio State quarterback going to the NFL. He doesn't have much to live up to.
You're not wrong.
Oh, so Nate gets a pass?
Yeah, because he's not an asshole.
Okay. So some other QB. We'll get to the QBs first. I didn't really catch much outside of that, so feel free to chime in outside of the QB world. There was a talk about Bryce Young's height and his hand size. I think Bryce Young came in at what, 5'10" in like a quarter.
He's the new hand size victim.
And the hand size apparently was acceptable.
Okay.
It was above the.
Then why are we talking about it?
Because that was a huge deal before the combine. Nobody knew how tall he was actually going to come in at, and nobody knew his hand size. So he is 5'10", just over 5'10", which puts him like Russell Wilson territory, I think, right?
I think we should have a new rule. Like on this show, we should ban talking about hand size. We should not feed into this bullshit. Like we will not talk about hand size on this show anymore.
Well, there's been a rule made for us, apparently.
Okay.
I just don't want to feed into it.
I will not feed into
about it.
All right, we're done. Moving on.
I pose a secondary rule. We will not talk about Ohio State sports outside of football.
Wait, we can't talk about other sports?
Not Ohio State sports.
No, fuck you.
Oops, there we go.
Right.
I had a feeling that was coming up at some point in this episode.
The hands conversation will continue. Max Duggan runs the 40. 40-yard dash, and I believe he ran it like 4.4. It's a 4.4, 4.5. Impressed some people with his speed, which, I mean, I think everyone knew that he was a good rushing quarterback, but I don't think people fully appreciated the speed he had on the field. I don't know what that's going to translate to as far as draft stock in the NFL, but he impressed scouts with his speed. And I heard nothing more about him, which probably means he did not do well in the other facets of the combine.
Or maybe he didn't participate, because that's a thing now, too. They're picking and choosing what they participate in.
That's not a new thing, Jim. That's been a thing.
Well, they're reporting on it like crazy.
They report on it
They
every
got
year.
asked not to talk about hand size anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll talk about freaking hand size, but we... Damn, Muff. All right.
What? I'm not the reporters, Jim. Don't forget this.
You're reporting on the reporters.
We are the reporters on the
You
reporters.
just said you're not the reporter. Keep going.
This
With
is
the
like
reporting
how,
on
isn't
the
this how Pat
reporters.
McAfee got sued because he was reporting
Allegedly.
reporting things?
Anthony Richardson. Jim, you want to talk about Anthony Richardson? That way you can report on what
No, I'm
you
good. Go
know,
ahead.
what you
Go
saw
ahead.
firsthand, not reporting on the reporters.
No, go ahead. Got me all fired up.
Anthony Richardson set quarterback records in the vertical jump, the broad jump, and I think there was one more record he set. I forget what it was, though.
I saw the first two.
Yeah. And he was one of the top 3, I believe, in arm strength. as far as the fastest ball that you can throw. I don't remember seeing a 40. Also reported is that he did really well on the interviews
I
with
have a
all of
hard
the
time.
teams.
I have a hard time investing a lot of stock in things like that. Like, okay, he can, lift lots of weight and jump really high. And I get it that there is that level of athleticism that's very important, but like, can you play football?
I agree with you to an extent. If you're a lineman and you can push like 600 pounds bench pressing, all right, that means you can push people forward. If you're a quarterback and you can jump 6 foot, at what point in your quarterback position will you be jumping 6 foot?
Well, that's kind of what I mean. I get it. Like, you're a great athlete, but will it really translate to anything meaningful from a quarterback stand? Like, I don't think Peyton Manning can jump 6 foot, but he was still
Right.
a damn good quarterback,
Yeah, I agree.
A wise man once said, "The eye in the sky, aka the film, doesn't lie."
Yes, what Nate said.
It's always the film, always the film. Getting to that, as far as things that do or do not make a difference in the NFL Combine, before we continue with a little bit of discussion, I believe there were two, speaking to what Jim said, linemen, one who tore his ACL and one who destroyed his hamstring in drills, and I think the hamstring was in the 40-yard dash.
This year?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw
Wow.
about the guy that tore his ACL.
Yeah, I forget what drill that was in there. I think it was one of the agility drills. So I feel like at some point the NFLPA may try to come in and have conversations about, okay, let's only have them do the drills that really make sense. Why does a lineman have to run a 40? An offensive lineman. What do we need to know about an offensive lineman after
This goes
10
back to the
yards?
conversation I just.
I agree with you, but are we really gonna say running fast is bad and like that injury was because he ran fast?
I think it's because a lineman may have to run. How many times does an NFL lineman have to try to run 40 yards quickly? You run 10 or 20, you're done.
I
Like
don't know,
I
man.
get a 10 to 20 yard burst.
If he did
speed.
it jumping, as Alex and I are saying, like jumping up 6 foot or broad jumping, yeah, okay, that's dumb. If he did that, but running, like I want to see the guy run.
Do you need
How
to
is
see him
his
run 40
mobility?
yards?
I think so. Like, how quick can you move?
I don't care after 10 for an offensive lineman.
If anything, give me some sort of drill and I do a pull.
Like a
Yeah.
war.
Medical
Like,
degenerate, would the possibility of tear still exist?
With what? Like a pulling or
Pulling?
jumping? Yeah, I mean, anything you do, any movement you make gives you that risk of tearing something.
Yeah. If he's gonna tear it, he's gonna tear it.
I disagree on a 40-yard dash for an offensive lineman.
Yeah, 40-yard dash for an offensive lineman is a lot different than a 40-yard dash for a wide receiver. That's a lot more weight you're moving around.
Yes.
I will agree with that. But the risk is, I mean, there's a lot of weight moving around there regardless.
Oh, yeah, there's risk no matter what. Will Levis has a cannon. He's not afraid to talk about it. In fact, in interviews, people were asked, he said, "Yep, I got a cannon. What of it?" It's me paraphrasing, but he did not stray away and try to be humble about it. I believe he threw, was it the first or second highest speed, which is another thing that I have no idea how that makes a difference, how fast a quarterback can throw the ball, because how many times do they zip it at 60 miles an hour during a game?
It'd be hard to catch.
Okay.
Okay, what?
What are we like? Are we sitting here saying the fact he's not afraid to talk about it is an issue or a point of contention we need to talk about? Or are we saying that he has a cannon is a point we need to talk about?
I'm saying, why do we care that somebody can throw the ball 60 miles an hour? He has a cannon. That is not up for debate. He proved that he can throw the ball very, very hard. I'm saying, why do we care if he can throw it 60 miles an hour?
He's going to get the ball out quickly. He's threading the needle.
That's a totally different thing.
You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm just trying to make conversation. I think the fact that he's walking in there with swagger about it's more of the point here. Like, he's at the combine, he's getting grilled about everything. I think this is the persona he's trying to carry. So that's more of the reason we care about this.
Like, I don't care about you or anyone's thoughts about me.
Like, you're not going to rattle me.
That's fair.
Let's get into something controversial, not controversial, but just something that happened as part of the combine. Jalen Carter, defensive tackle from Georgia, had a warrant issued for reckless driving and racing in connection with the deaths of a teammate and a staff member on the Georgia's championship celebration day. Goes back to Georgia, gets served, I mean, when your warrant's issued, you have to go back and go to the police station and say, hey, I'm here, arrest me or whatever, post bail, and then he goes back to the combine. Obviously, all within the realm of the law. Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
It was like 17 minutes or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was only
incarcerated for not incarcerated, but only detained.
Yeah, they booked him and bailed him.
Yeah, he was booked and got bailed. So there's a lot of different ways to take this. Should we say does it say anything that he was willing to do all of that, come back and still participate? Or did it maybe raise different questions that may come up during his interviews? Do we think this is going to help him or hurt him in the end? The fact that he did all that and came back to the combine, knowing that there's still a lot that's going to be happening with his legal situation.
I don't think it hurt him at all.
Yeah, it didn't hurt him at all. This is business. I think this speaks more to his overall character. Like, incident speaks more to his character. The incident speaks more to the culture of Georgia. But this is not a reflect, like the fact that he went, served what he had to serve, dealt with the issue, and came back is more, this guy's trying to face the consequences and still get his life moving forward.
Yeah, he basically said that there's a lot that's going to come out, like it looks really bad, but it's not what it looks like or something.
What are you talking about in culture, Jim, with Georgia?
I think that if this is truly a thing, like if it comes out to the negative, like, hey, this guy was racing, he had staff in the car, like they were allowing, like it was a known thing, then they acted like their shit don't stink. And this is a constant thing. If the investigation goes sideways and this is a parting type of program, which I'm not saying it is,
right?
I'm saying it has that possibility, then it's an issue.
Yeah.
And Kirby Smart's got a lot to answer for until this all gets cleaned up. But I don't think this kid, he's got to answer for what happened. But the fact that he came back and did his business is just him handling business.
Fair enough. Nate, I think you put this next little tidbit in.
Yeah, so I sent you guys a TikTok watching. Apparently, Arizona State punter Michael Turk put on a clinic at the bench press, repping out 25 reps, which made me think, why in the hell are kickers and punters participating in the bench press at the combine?
I feel like this is the theme of it. Why is that position doing that?
Yeah.
But still, he put up 25 reps. I bet you that's better than some wideouts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how many Pat McAfee could do.
Back in the day,
or that, right? Which
I feel like he should come out now and just
don't think as many as you think, Alex.
I don't know. I bet he could yoke him right now.
I bet he got 50 in him. I really just wanted to see Jim's face.
He's not called the quad father for nothing, Alex. No, he wasn't called the bicep.
Sorry, I thought he did squats.
He wasn't called the tricep father, or the chest father. Yeah. So, anything else from the combine? We didn't get too much into Bryce Young not throwing. He's going to throw at his pro day. I don't really recall any other big position things going on. There are people that wowed with anything aside from, I think it was a D lineman who ran like a 4.5.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, that was not impressive, Jim.
No, I'm just saying at this point, the combine, we basically are saying the combine's not worth it. I think that's the running theme, and I think we're all at that point. Like, let them have their pro days and show out.
There are parts that are good about it and parts that are bad about it.
What are the good parts? I'll explore that with you. What are the good parts?
I think that does every player get a pro day?
They can. Like, if we scrap the combine, they could.
I think that's my question. Like, is there room for this combine for like players on the fringe who aren't going to get an actual pro day? Like, okay, I get it. Like, Alabama's always going to have a pro day. Is a like Division 1 AA school that might have an athlete who's a stud going to get a pro day, or is there option to make it to get to
Sure, I see your point.
That's the positive. I agree with you. I think some of it's frivolous. Like,
It's not the fanfare that it used to be.
no,
I think it's more fanfare than it used to be because there's more coverage. You can see everything at all times.
But they're not. It's one
They're
thing to
not
have a
as
bunch of
excited
cameras
about
there. You're just not hyping it up as much, is what I mean. Like there's no fanfare to it.
I think now with like the opting out, the opting in, and this, that, the other, I think before it was like a bigger deal overall. Like your performance at the combine, I feel like it used to mean more.
Yeah.
We did used to care more. Getting into current players, some of the player moves that have happened throughout the week. Breaking, the Saints have signed Derek Carr to a 4-year, $150 million deal, 100 of that guaranteed, and maybe looking to then release Jameis Winston, which could save some cap space and some salary space moving forward. So the Saints get Derek Carr.
If I'm Derek, I think that's a good move for both.
Yeah, they both win there. For sure.
Saints have been looking, and they hopefully, at least for the next 4 years, have found their man. The Seahawks signed Geno Smith, Alex, to a 3-year, $105 million deal.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't deny that him after this past year.
Anthony Richardson said that he really likes the Seahawks organization and Pete Carroll.
Well, I don't care who he likes. Come rip it out of Geno's cold dead hands. That's my thoughts on the situation. Next.
Well, then wasn't it, not to get off topic here, but wasn't it Caleb Williams a couple weeks ago or last week said, yeah, I'd like to go play for the Dolphins?
The Commanders released Carson Wentz, saves about $26 million in cap, which was an expected move based on Carson's season. What's that?
Quite the headache.
Carson Wentz not been a great asset to any team over the past couple of few years.
No.
The Cowboys put the tag on Tony Pollard, which is right now at about a little over $10 million for a running back. Is this the writing on the wall for Zeke?
Are you mad?
What?
If you're him, are you mad?
Yes and no.
Why? Why? Yes.
Yes, because I don't want to split the backfield with Zeke anymore because I think he's better than Zeke can.
Right.
And I also think he can get more money. But at the same time, it's guaranteed money, and you're going to play on a team that's going to be good, but not good enough to win the playoffs.
Like your future is not looking any brighter. Like, oh, I got to spend another year with like.
But how long do you think there's any inside information we don't know where they're like, hey, Zeke's going to be phasing out?
I think he might try to see if he can work a deal. If not, he's like, listen, I'll play on this franchise tag, but I'm not playing on it next year.
Yeah, but can't they do it for like 2-3 years?
I think the most they can do it is 2.
Yeah, that's I forget. There's all, which we'll get into here with Lamar Jackson here in a little bit with Nate, but there's so many different things that go into the franchise tag. How long? It is guaranteed money, which is a good thing for especially a running back in the league now, with the lower shelf life or the shorter shelf life as far as what they're doing. So get the money while you can. But I agree, you could probably get a little bit more on the open market.
It makes me feel like there's something going on where Zeke's not going to be around very long. And they're holding on to him to get past that. Hey, this year Zeke's going to be around. I don't think they do it unless they think that he has a true future in Dallas.
I don't trust Jerry, so he's trying to have all the toys in the toy box.
Selfish.
The Raiders put the tag on Josh Jacobs.
That's not surprising to me.
Yeah.
No.
It is a little bit after the whole drama of is he going to be around?
Of not picking up his 5th-year option.
Yeah. But
I mean, I think towards the end of the year there, he put on a hell of a show and put up some big numbers. So
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
I think another year under Josh McDaniel can do him some good. Again, even if he doesn't sign long term there, it can only help his cause.
No, I definitely agree. I think he's worth it.
And remember that Josh McDaniels comes from the Bill Belichick tree of, well, we can find another running back somewhere. We don't need you. So I think this goes to show the value they think he brings to that team overall. Nate, let you go into the next couple here.
So I saw all over social media, they're saying the Ravens are thinking about putting what they're calling the non-exclusive tag on Lamar. So I looked that up and said, what the heck is this non-exclusive tag versus exclusive tag versus transition tag? There's just so many freaking things. But anyway, per Pro Football Focus, quote, that would open up the door for other NFL teams to negotiate with Lamar, and they would have to give up 2 first-round picks if they agreed to a deal that the Ravens opted not to match. So as opposed to just franchise tagging him and saying, oh, nope, he's ours, they're leaving the door open for other teams to come in and still potentially do like a sign-in trade.
Do you think if you're Lamar Jackson, how do you feel about that?
I mean, if I'm Lamar, from everything I've read, this seems like all he cares about is just getting paid. He doesn't care whether it's in Baltimore, whether it's in Tennessee, whether it's in Atlanta.
And he is representing himself as well, I think, along with his mother and maybe some other family are part of that. So, I mean, he's the one in those meetings, right? It's not.
That's true.
It's not an agent. It's him. It's him talking to the team. Which, I mean, so he knows what's going on. It's not filtered through anybody. So more to come there. Calvin Ridley, Nate.
Yeah, I saw this scrolling across the ticker, watching some college hoops before we got on, that Calvin Ridley has been fully reinstated by the NFL. So I think that not only gives Trevor Lawrence another weapon, but we saw how the Jaguars performed last year and first year under Doug Peterson. So I think this is a case of not the rich getting richer, but look out for the Jags maybe for a division title run this year in the AFC South.
All right.
And notable releases, Nate.
Yeah, again, just looking through the NFL transactions I saw as we were making the notes here on the additions, the tags, the signings. So the Chiefs have released defensive end Frank Clark, their big sack leader this past year. The Vikings have released long-term linebacker and I think team captain Eric Kendricks in a cost-saving move. The Titans cut Bud Dupree, which I don't remember hearing much about Bud Dupree ever since he signed with the Titans.
Well, that's what happens when you leave a fantastic organization. You fall off the radar a little.
And the Falcons also released Marcus Mariota after 1 year with the team.
That's crazy to me.
The Desmond Ritter show.
I was going to say.
Or are they going to try to find another quarterback?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I got a basketball game on in the background. I don't know if this is live, but I think it is. It's on ESPN. Buzzer beater. We got March Madness already.
Who is it?
Well, sorry, take that back. It was a flashback. What the hell?
That's what happens when you're recording a podcast.
Yeah. I just look up and I
see the Pittsburgh Penguins just wrapped up their hockey season.
Good.
But no, then I also saw you had that thing in there about the NFLPA report cards, and I even put up the ones for our 3 teams if you still wanted to hit that.
I got it up there.
All right. Or do you want to do your coaching vacancy spot you got?
Nah, I don't have any updates there unless anybody here heard of anything. The NFL report card. So I'll lead this in and you can chat about it, Nate. The NFL did some surveying of, I think, everybody within an organization and got some feedback, and they had many different possibilities or categories on teams, including the overall total. But some of these were treatment of families, strength staff, training staff, locker room, and travel. So Nate, do you want to do a quick recap here?
Yeah, so I went on and found the report cards for every team, and then I picked our 3 teams: Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and the Chargers, unless Jim wants to claim the Browns tonight.
No, I got the Chargers. Always the Chargers.
Okay, so we'll start with your Chargers. So as Muff said, we went with treatment of facilities, and all that stuff. So I'll just go down the line here. So for your Los Angeles Chargers, again, I'm not sure who all voted on this. I just know it was ran through the NFLPA. So treatment of families, a D minus.
Yeah.
Food service / nutrition, they got an F.
Feeling good about that.
Weight room, C minus. Strength coaches, A minus. Training room, F minus.
Can we call back to a certain into the lung?
Well, I guess.
Right. You're right.
I know we don't talk
Along
about
that, we got training staff at a C minus. The locker room, a D minus, and team travel, they got a B.
Sure. Makes sense.
You got a B.
Makes sense.
So next we'll move on to my Bucks, who also didn't do too hot in this. So treatment of families, they got a D plus. Food service and nutrition was a D. Weight room, B plus. Strength coaches, A. Training room, C plus. Training staff, A minus. Locker room, C minus, and team travel, F. Now, I did read a little bit into that whole F for the team travel, and apparently they're one of a few teams that don't offer first-class style seats to their players. It's more of a traditional seating on the plane, and guys, I guess we're butthurt about that.
That'll happen.
And then finally, for the Steelers, treatment of families was a D minus.
Pretty good.
Food service, B plus. Weight room was a C. Strength coach, A minus. Training room, D minus. Training staff, B plus. Locker room, D plus. And team travel, B.
It surprises me how much these people whine.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the treatment of families in the training room and locker rooms and all that are down, which I was really surprised to see that on the LA side with the new facilities, the new stadium.
Yeah.
Like Alex said, it's like, what all do you think you need or want in the training room that for Pittsburgh, for example, you're giving it a D minus for the room, but the staff gets a B plus?
Yeah, what's so bad about the room? Maybe there is some terrible stuff that we're just not privy to, but
I don't know. So then I looked through and just scrolling through because they have a whole chart of every team you can look at. And the Minnesota Vikings had flying colors. I mean, I see A's all across the board.
really.
Yeah, quite literally A everything. So apparently, when you live
When it's freezing cold all the time, they're
You
just
have
happy to
to-
be inside.
you have to,
Yeah,
They're like,
you have to do
he
something.
works, A plus.
So I think Minnesota had, like Muff said, all A's, and then Dallas, I just saw, had all A's, one B, and one C minus.
That's because Jerry Jones would cut them if they didn't say his facilities were perfect.
Yeah, so their training room got a B, and their team travel got a C minus.
Interesting. It's interesting to see the perspectives from other teams, how that goes. Didn't get too deep into it, but it'd be interesting to see the organizations that are said or thought to be successful over time. What kind of feedback they're getting to get some of those poor grades, because I mean, a lot of those organizations have poor grades, and what are they messing up? So that will bring us to the end of this week's edition of
The off season.
and bring us right into other interesting news from the sports world. First,
Other interesting news in sports.
I liked it. I liked the energy there. I said the
Thanks.
entertainment, not the energy.
First, go to the NBA. John Morant continues to find himself in hot water. Now, after a Instagram post that showed him apparently holding a firearm in a club late one night last week. This comes within a week after he is alleged to have brandished a gun to a teenager after he punched him in an off-season pickup game. And pickup, I'm using very loosely there. I believe it was like at his house. So,
He
somewhere.
got punked by a teenager and said,
Right.
I'm going to fix you. I'm going to go get my gun. And then he got, his security team was pointing lasers at another team. and it looked like a weapon to that security staff. And then this guy goes to a club, brandishes a weapon, and his statement is, I'm going to take some time away, get some help, work on learning better methods of dealing with stress and my overall well-being.
Then brandishing lethal weapons at people.
Like, I'm a very stressed out dude. Nothing in my brain says, you know what I'm going to do to handle my stress? I'm going to brandish a pew-pew, and that'll make all my stress go away.
So did none of these NBA guys learn from Gilbert Arenas?
I was just about to bring that up.
Right?
Or Plaxico Burress.
Yes,
Yep.
that's also true.
So
Play
this
stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, he's been ruled out indefinitely. And Jim discussed parts of that statement that were shared afterwards. So we will see where this ends up and how long he's going to be in. Really, what is going to come of that alleged incident that happened last offseason. Next, we will move on to the UFC and Jon Bones Jones.
Really rehabilitated Jones.
Go ahead, Jim. You and Dana feel like I always have things to say about Jon Jones.
Hey, he won. Kudos to him. Won in under 2 minutes with a hell of a submission. He had a goal of coming in at 240, came in at 248, won the heavyweight championship, looked real good. His fiance came into the octagon beforehand. He credited her with sticking with him after, the domestic violence accusation a year ago. He had an after party in Vegas, which scared the shit out of Dana White. Dana White wanted him to leave town immediately after the fight. He seemed, knock on wood, to have his life together. I'm going to refrain from calling him my usual moniker for him. I'm going to wish this man a speedy and rehabilitated life.
So Dana White referred to him as the GOAT.
I can't say that he's not.
And to that, Jon also called out Francis Ngannou.
Yep.
Which, I mean, rightfully so in this case. Once you've taken the championship from the current guy, let's talk to the guy who left the UFC.
Yep.
With the title and say, hey, we should do something. So it will be interesting to see the path that he goes on. I mean, he's no spring chicken anymore. That's number one.
Well, that's tough, Muff. Like, he is doing everything correctly in terms of, okay, I'm going to go up a weight class. I'm going to physically do it the way I should when I go up weight class. It's not like he ballooned up.
Right.
He just added weight. His one loss is to Matt Hamill by DQ for a legal elbow. So he never got beat.
Right.
He's undefeated. I cannot in good conscience say that he's not the GOAT. I don't like him. I don't like his personal choices. But in terms of the sport, I don't know.
I don't know a whole ton about like UFC and records and stuff like that. Is it genuinely he considered undefeated even though he got disqualified, or are you just personally considering him undefeated? Since
I mean, my record, he's umpteen and 1.
Okay, that's why I just wondered. I didn't know.
But like even his grappling record, he's undefeated, like because he can do grappling tournaments, and he beat some real strong grapplers. He's the man in terms of fighting, and like his pay-per-view of buys are up there with Connor. So
I'm just glad I don't have to hear about him too much anymore. I did not like him.
Well, get ready to strap in, buddy, because with him coaching a season of whatever they're calling it,
Ultimate Fighter or whatever,
and he got that wild crazy eye that you're gonna get something out of him. Yeah, Jon Jones is, if he stays on the straight and narrow, it's gonna be crazy.
I will say I agree that he didn't look ballooned. He looked like he had like compared to what he used to look like before, he had like the dad bod compared to the emaciated bod.
Yeah.
Like he just definitely looked healthier overall. But I'm interested to see like the next fight, what he comes in at weight wise and what that looks like for him.
I mean, he did the ultimate LeBron James. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he did.
That's pretty funny. Side talk real quick, just because this came across my timeline. I'm not sure if this is going to come into anything, but Bo Nickel, former Penn State wrestler, national champion, is competed in, I believe, his first UFC fight. He had been in some other MMA fights. I think it was his first like main card, or he was a prelim event. Submitted a guy in the first round. So we'll see where that goes up. There's people talking about him, but again, I think that's mostly in my timeline. I don't know if that's in the broader scope of the UFC world. But interesting to see, and we'll see where it goes. Next, into some old NFL news. Joe Montana.
Oh, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. So I just got this across my news feed here. Stipe Miocic,
Mm-hmm.
my boy from Cleveland, will fight Jon Jones next.
Is that confirmed? I knew there had been discussions, but I did not.
Dana has confirmed it. Well, Dana says that's what's happening. So if that's true, and that becomes a real deal fight, I would probably like. This is the first time in my like 3 years since I quit watching. I'd probably pay to see that. Yeah, I'd probably pay to see that.
I considered this past weekend's fight, but I didn't get into it. But yeah, I'd probably get that one too. I agree.
So then, see, that's the gloriousness of Jon Jones.
Right?
People want to see it.
Yep.
The people want to see him. Gets the people going.
Yeah.
Joe Montana's The Drive jersey sells for $1.12 million, breaking Tom Brady's auction record.
Yeah, it was like way less. Well, not really. It was like 472,000 or something like that.
Sound right, Nate?
Sure.
Is that how much you
Still
paid for it?
Still an absolute wild concept that someone's paying that much for a shirt that someone else wore. I'm not downplaying at all Joe Montana's success. I just can't think of a single reason I would pay that much for a shirt.
Yeah, you know you've got too much money when you're spending 1.2 on a game-worn jersey.
Yes. It'd be cool to have for like, even if it would have been like 100,000. I personally obviously don't have that kind of like fun money to spend, but I'd be like, if you got it, flaunt it. But 1.12 is a lot of freaking money.
Indeed, it
That's a
is.
lot.
It's actually the story is he wore the exact same jersey for the Super Bowl 4 years apart.
Yeah, his wife kept it for him. He was gonna just like get rid of it or give it to someone or whatever. And she's like, you never know, like you might want to wear it again. And apparently, whenever he made the Super Bowl, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna wear that one again.
And that he did. So, getting into some other football news, Nate, this is all you, buddy. You found this and brought it to our attention.
So I saw this and it's since made headlines. XFL quarterback for the Orlando Guardians, Quentin Dormady, was released just 2 weeks into the season. So you might be saying, why are you getting released 2 weeks into the season? Well, this is because there were allegations that he was giving the opposing teams the playbook for the Orlando Guardians.
It's not a good look.
So, allegedly. So allegedly, the team heard, they investigated and released him. And then I was watching their game over the weekend, part of it, and apparently he might have been reinstated, and the XFL's taken the lead on this investigation. So there's more to come on that. But to think that you want another shot at football and you're like, let's just give the other team my playbook. If this is true, I want to know the kickback.
Yeah, I mean, like there has to be financial incentive, and also how I thought you were going to say whenever you said you started watching their game, like maybe they were doing really, really badly, and you're like, they definitely have to have the playbook. That's terrible.
They start off 0-2.
That's not a good look.
This is The Rock. It's a work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna sit here quietly.
And then
I'll
also,
say it.
I was watching a little bit of XFL this weekend in the Seattle versus Vegas game. The kicker went to kick the ball off, and the ball blew off the tee, which if you're a football fan, you know, okay, first time you get a mulligan. If it happens a second time, it's a 5-yard penalty. But in the XFL, the 10 members of the kicking team and 10 out of the 11 members of the receiving team line up 5 yards apart from each other, way down the field from the kickoff.
Yeah.
So what happened was, and this kind of blew my freaking mind, the one of the officials held the ball on the tee for the kicker.
You gonna do that, Nate?
Hell no.
Trust him not to kick your finger.
No, I don't. Especially if you're an XFL kicker.
Nate's gonna pull a Charlie Brown on
I
it.
was just gonna say, get nervous, like, whoa. I would.
Yeah, that's just something like I never thought about happening in the XFL, but I guess it obviously can happen. It's like, hey, official, go hold my damn ball so I can kick it. Okay.
Okay.
And then the last XFL thing I had watching towards the end ended up being a good game towards the end until this shit show. So a fight broke out between the DC Defenders and the St. Louis Battlehawks. And I think there was actually less than a minute in the game. It was one of those wacky XFL things where St. Louis scored to go down 6 with like a minute to go. And you go for it on 4th and 15 from your own 25 in order to maintain possession. So McCarron gets sacked, and then these guys, being the XFL guys they are, get into a fist fight. I see one helmet literally get thrown 30 yards. Guys are fist fighting, and like, again, like, you guys wonder why you're in the XFL and not in the NFL. That's not the kind of film you want to give them.
I don't know.
So-
I kind of like it.
It's the kind of film that Alex wants to see, but it's not the film that instills a lot of confidence in an NFL.
Well, like
GM.
you said, it's the Rock's league, but this isn't the league that you want to fight in.
No, if you actually think that you want to excel in football, like you said, if you're trying to use it genuinely as a stepping stone to the big league.
Yeah, if any of the guys, there's I think 3 total players that were ejected. It's like any of those 3 players, you might as well kiss your dream in the NFL goodbye. If you can't keep your head on your shoulders in a developmental league, you think they're really going to trust to sign you to an NFL team? They would cut you the next day.
The next day. This is the XFL. And that wraps up other interesting news in sports this week.
Other interesting news. This is Mount Massive. All right, so we're now on to the Avengers. The goal was to get 7 Avengers and their athletic counterparts. I'm going to start with Muff. What you got?
I again just stayed in the football world. So I'm just going to go from top to bottom. I think we're all mostly used the same. I think there's some deviations here and there. I went with Iron Man as Brett Favre. Just because.
Your buddy Aaron Rodgers wouldn't approve of that pick.
That's okay. Aaron Rodgers comes in later. But Iron Man, Brett Favre, just thinking about he's kind of a precocious person who had money, was very philanthropic, but for Brett Favre, it didn't turn out as we would have expected it to in the end, as we're going through right now. The Hulk, I'm going to have Trent Williams, who's an offensive lineman for the 49ers. Just a big dude. Like, I just went for like a big guy, and that's who I was going with. Thor, I went with Clay Matthews. Had the hair. I think there was actually a lot of graphics about him when he was playing, of being like the Thor type mentality.
When I was like, oh, Thor, that's a good one. And then I was like, oh, Clay Matthews. And then I saw yours. I was like, I don't want to make it that obvious.
Yeah. So I think that was like actually a thing when he was playing. Black Widow is Aaron Rodgers. Because when you think of Black Widow in the Iron Man, she was in there to do some spying on him, right? And then, she ended up joining the team. So
I don't get the analogy.
I don't care. That's just who it's going to be, Jim.
Okay. So you just needed to say Aaron Rodgers in the segment?
I just wanted Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre to be in there together somehow.
Okay.
So that's all I wanted. Eli Manning is my Hawkeye. I forget all the reasons why. I didn't do much research on this. I just tossed people in there, if I'm being honest.
Okay, good.
Captain America, Troy Aikman. Actually, I think Eli Manning does fit the Hawkeye in some way. Because
Okay.
he came in as a villain. If you remember, Eli Manning came in the league as a little bit of a villain, because he wanted to be traded from the Chargers.
Yeah.
And then he became an endearing figure because he won the Orca championship, and he's a Manning brother. So,
All right.
stuck on that one, Jim. Captain America, Troy Aikman, the quarterback of America's team.
Okay.
Sorry, that's just it. And then I went Groot, baby Groot. I don't know how we're gonna do this, but Marshawn Lynch. I am Groot. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Wash, rinse,
Okay.
repeat.
All right. So I'm gonna go next. Iron Man, I have KD. Tony Stark would probably have burner accounts about himself. Tony Stark probably would act like he doesn't care what people think, but truly does. Tony Stark is a pompous asshole. Iron Man is KD. Captain America is Steph Curry. What can't he do? Everybody loves him. Big lovable guy. He's kind of like the poster child for the NBA. That's Captain America. Hulk would be Zion Williamson, because he blew out a shoe, bust out of his clothes. Big boy. Hawkeye is Aaron Rodgers to me because like he ends up being an old guy, like kind of does some crazy shit, can always throw the ball, always hits the target. Like no one really likes him, but you need him on the team. Black Widow is UFC champion Amanda Nunes because she's a badass. Thor is Gronk, because like Thor can put him down, Gronk can put him down. Thor's kind of crazy. You never really know what he's gonna do. That's Gronk. And then I went rogue and went Drax from the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I like that one.
Drax wants to basically hurt everything and just maim everybody. And Ndamukong Suh.
Definitely early in career, Ndamukong Suh,
Yeah.
bar none.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go to Alex. I'm leaving Nate for last.
Okay. My Iron Man is Kobe Bryant, and that's solely because Iron Man's my favorite superhero and Kobe Bryant's my favorite athlete.
That's fair.
It just made sense in my head. Captain America, Tom Brady.
I
The
almost did that.
Tom Brady Patriots era.
Yeah.
Red, white, and blue, suave looking Tom Brady. Hawkeye, Julian Edelman. I don't know why this popped in my head. I'm just thinking like little and powerful. And like
Yeah.
Groot, Taco Fall. I don't know if you remember him. Super tall, lanky basketball player. Thor, Prince Fielder. So Prince Fielder was dubbed the strongest baseball player. And I was just thinking of Thor with his hammer, equating it to a baseball player, incorporating baseball into the mix. Hulk, James Harrison. I think I made him a superhero last week too. So sticking with it. And Gamora, Serena Williams. Gamora from Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy.
that's a good one.
Thank you.
All right, Nate.
All right, like Alex, I also had Kobe Bryant as my Iron Man. For the Hulk, I have Aaron Donald. Enough
That
said.
was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Thor, I kind of took the easy way out and picked Noah Syndergaard because that actually is his nickname. For Jim, who probably doesn't know who Noah Syndergaard is, he's a Major League Baseball pitcher who has the long locks and throws
Yeah.
mid or the upper 90s, touching around 100. I don't remember who. I think he just signed with the Dodgers. He used to play for the Mets for a while.
Yeah.
Black Widow, like Jim picked Amanda Nunes. I did the same reasoning for Ronda Rousey.
That's fair.
Good one.
Hawkeye, like guys had mentioned earlier, was a sharpshooter. So I immediately thought of a big old country boy from the NFL, former defensive end Jared Allen.
That makes sense.
Captain America, I went Derek Jeter. And then I have a tie for my baby Groot. And considering it's baby Groot, it's going to be either Kyler Murray or Jose Altuve.
I like it.
I like it.
The Kyler Murray visual on all those things that they've done through social media, where he looks like the smaller player on the field, is hilarious to me. Like that visual right there.
Well, did you ever see the visual they have of Jose Altuve standing next to Aaron
Aaron
Judge?
Judge, yeah, comes up to like his chest.
I
And,
like it.
and I also appreciate this one. Alex, remember back in the day when WVU used to have Noel Devine and West Lions?
Yes. That would be a good one.
Yeah,
That
West
reminds
Lions,
me like Brute and Rocky.
West Lions was like 6'8", and I think Noel Devine was 5'6" on a good day.
Yes. Yes, he was also a wheeling rough rider.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next week's Mount Massive. The best non-major sport athlete. Top 5.
So, what are you considering major sports?
Yeah.
Basketball, football, baseball, hockey. And Muff, side rule, you can't make it 5 golfers.
You can't make it 5 of any other sport then.
That's fine.
All be from the same sport. Got it.
Yeah.
So everybody has that rule.
Yeah.
I think
All
that's
right.
keeps us honest.
And that's Mount Massive. Welcome to Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Would you rather? All right, guys. Same thing as last week. From Facebook, we have the Archie Manning autographed card for $50, or the collector's edition Peyton Manning football.
I
Not
already have-
signed. 2006 has its stats on it.
I already have a comment on the situation.
Go ahead.
They're selling a Peyton Manning football, Payton, and their description says Peyton Manning football, Payton, and it says in the picture, Peyton spelled correctly.
There you go. So what would you pick?
I'd go signed Archie Manning card.
Muff.
Hi Tyler, is it still available? It may not be available anymore. I don't know. I would be curious of like the condition of that Archie Manning card.
It's a little brown, right?
Yeah, I'm just not sure. And if you're only selling it for $50, I mean, is it really worth much? I would venture to say I would get the Peyton Manning football and then do my damnedest to try to get Peyton to sign it to increase its value.
Muff's got a plan.
I love Peyton Manning. It's not signed.
Nate.
Just because I grew up watching Peyton Manning, I think I would get more out of Peyton than I would of Archie.
All right. I think I'm with you guys on that one. So next, the Battle of the Bosas. Joey Bosa signed Charger jersey at $225 with certification, or signed Nick Bosa jersey, no certification. This frame signed Nick Bosa jersey, framing costs $300 alone. Quote, it's never been worn.
It's a cotton blend.
So, what would you pick? Which Bosa makes the cut? Nate.
Only because of the authenticity, give me Joey.
Muff.
Agreed with Nate.
Yeah. Yeah. If $345 is a lot of money for something that could be fake, if it came with the authenticity, I'd take the Nick Bosa one because of the frame. He's right; those things do cost a lot, but not authentic.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right, next. Ha!
Oh, this is easy.
Kobe Bryant, 2 Sports Illustrateds. LeBron James, 1. See some tears on the edge of the LeBron, but it's $5 less. What do you do? Muff.
I'm going Kobe.
Yeah.
Nate.
Kobe.
Alex.
Kobe. So, funny story about Kobe magazine. When Kobe passed away, they were like People magazine or whatever. He was on the cover, and my grandma knows I love Kobe Bryant, so she kept it for me And instead of keeping it like in a condition that like you could, frame it or put it somewhere, she wrote Alex in pen really big all over the front of it. Like right in front of it wrote Alex really big. So
Dang.
yeah, I don't think Grandma really picked up on like the fact that those kind of things can be, collector's
20,
items
worth
someday.
20 bucks.
But that's all right. I still have it.
All right. Next. It gets interesting. Benny the Bull Funko Pop. $17. Funko Pop of Ronda Rousey in the UFC. $9. Funko Pops are, they can be worth something someday. Muff.
I have a small Funko Pop collection, and I'm a Bulls fan, so give me Benny the Bull.
I knew that. That's why I let you go first. Nate.
Give me Benny the Bull because I feel like I can get that one autographed a lot easier than Ronda.
The Benny the Bull can, okay. All right.
I
Alex.
feel like I can go to a Bulls game and get Benny to sign that more than I can.
He with his mascot hands?
Absolutely.
I got
Okay.
when I was little, used to get like, the Pirate Parrots autograph on things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Benny the Bull because I feel like it'll be a lot easier to find another Ronda Rousey than a Benny the Bull Funko Pop.
I'm going to go with Ronda Rousey on this. I think you guys are all off. I don't think you're going to see many Ronda Rouseys in the UFC gear. I think this is rare. All right, we're going to move on. Here we go. Funko Pop with Joe Burrow, $50. Funko, not the same, but from Funko. Dak Prescott, gold, 5-inch figure, $35.
Or is this open floor? Or
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. This is wide open. Go ahead.
does anyone know how much the Funko Pop Joe Burrow costs? Just I'm sure you can walk.
No. We're no recon here.
No, I feel like before I make a choice, I'm spending 50 bucks on
It's
something that's
gun to
probably
your head.
7.
Don't ruin the game show here.
Gun to my head, I do think it's overpriced.
Okay.
I just don't know how much overpriced the Cowboys, the Dak Prescott one is.
That's what I mean. So you got to pull the trigger.
Oh, give me Dak.
Wow. Okay.
I guess Joey B. Without looking at the price,
Oh,
I'd take.
Nate.
Give me Joey B, but if I'm a Cowboy fan, you better take that gold with Dak because you're never going to get the silver Lombardi with him.
Oh, they're almost gone. There's only 3 left, so you better move quick on the
Gotta
goal
move
with
quick.
that.
Okay. Now the last one. John Elway, Denver's Bronco, McFarland's Legend Sports, unopened, or Dan Marino, which I couldn't figure out that number 12 at the time. So you're getting 2 figures here. Both $25. What do you do?
Oh, that's tough.
Nate, what do you think here, buddy?
I think I'm going to go with Elway just because I like those jerseys better than the ones in the Marino toy pack.
Okay. All right. Alex?
I want to say Elway because it looks like it's in like better condition. If that makes sense. But I bet you that Dan Marino toy is a lot more rare.
Probably. And it's a
It looks
two.
older.
I'm trying to figure out who number 12 is.
I didn't say in the description, I'll tell you that much.
Who wore number
So
12 for the Dolphins? Oh, it's Bob Greasy.
oh, I'm out. Give me freaking Elway.
I feel like I'm getting a 2-for-1 there. Give me Dan. Give me Dano.
No, thank you.
It's just so weird because then you buy this thing and you just keep it in a box for the rest of its life.
I thought you Yinzers would bite on that Marino thing. Alex, you disappointed me.
And Marino never won anything.
That's true.
It's famous.
All right. That's Would You Rather. I appreciate your participation. Next week I'll find some more, good stuff on the
Raw
Facebook.
sale finds.
Yeah. So that's Would You Rather.
This ends this week's edition of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, the special Tuesday edition.
Well,
I do.
we can do.
Special because it's special. As always, remember, follow us on the social media at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, sportstuffw/Jim, Amerson Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Do all the action verbs. Keep us going in the right direction. Check out any of the YouTube shorts, videos, or other things that we have going on. And as always, tell a friend, make a friend, be